Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks on our seventh game winning streak. Your Philadelphia Eagles are cooking right now.
Wild. Who
Cooking.
saw this coming when we were bitching and
Not
complaining?
actually, but we would have hoped for some success. Um, but yeah, I don't think I would have thought the Eagles were going to be on a 7 game winning streak at any point. So it's
Ever since that beatdown, they've taken off.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty wild. Because you can kind of see where like changes started to happen. Um, like, defensively for sure after the bye, they put
Oh
DeJean in.
yeah.
The linebackers got well acquainted with each other and the scheme. The secondary really settled in. Like Gardner Johnson's looked a lot better, especially in the past couple weeks.
Pass
Um,
rushes looked infinitely
Yeah,
times
I mean,
better.
once Brandon Graham started getting more reps, the defense started ramping it up on the line there with the pressures. Unfortunately, he did tear his tricep in the
That
game
hurt my
last night.
soul.
Yeah,
That hurt my soul.
and it was a rare occasion I put on Eagles post game live on Comcast because I haven't watched it in a while because I don't really like the new crew they have. I miss the old crew,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
regardless, he was like one of the first people who got interviewed in the locker room. And you could tell he was like really like disheartened about it, but he was like super high in spirits, like classic BG. Um,
I don't even remember when he got hurt.
he it was one of he either got a sack or he got a pressure on Stafford, and he got like I forget what happened. He got like hit or something when he was like going down to the ground, but
Mm.
it was in the third quarter, I think. Um,
He was getting, pressure all game.
the one where he is I watched this so many times. It's so awesome. He's bending around the corner and he just I don't know what the tackle's name is, but you can see him like super quick hands smacks the lineman's hands
Oh,
down
I love it. The
and
two-hand
just
swat.
oh my God, it was so clean, so perfect, and he just hit the shit out of Stafford. I was like, holy fuck, BG still got it.
I mean,
But
this is sadness on two fronts.
yeah,
One, all-time legend,
mhm.
probably the last game we've ever seen him play. So, you
It's
know,
pretty. If I was him,
moment of
I
silence
would
there.
probably retire.
Well, I think he's already said so, pour one out, moment of silence for
Yeah.
BG's career. Absolute legend. Yeah. And then secondly is once you get past the nostalgia, he's our best pass rusher. And wouldn't even say it's
Well,
close. Like you just said, like when he started to hit more reps, when they gave up on Bryce Huff,
hmm.
they've taken off. He's been making big plays, not just this game, all year. Like
I
even
think
in the rougher weeks.
yeah, pressure wise, he definitely has been their best producer off the edge. Um, I will say I was surprised when I saw this. Josh Sweat has actually cranked it up quite a lot.
He has,
He
yeah.
has 7 sacks all of a sudden, and he's like number 8 in the league or whatever. But
Surprising.
The Eagles also jumped up from like we were like 30th in sacks like in the first like 5 games, and now we're like eighth. It's like what a turnaround. It's
Well,
crazy.
to be fair, I mean, you reduced Bryce Huff's snaps and you kind of put Nolan Smith back in that flex specialist role and
Yeah.
just ran with BG and Sweat. I mean, the problem is, I mean, now more than ever, when he comes back and he's healthy, man, Bryce Huff has to do something. You can't just hide him
Yeah.
behind Brandon Graham anymore.
Yeah, we'll do the Giants thing and have Huff play like special teams running back or scout team running back,
I
something
mean,
crazy.
I was kind of like laughing because Mike Tirico was like talking about how they were like, oh, and this pass rush going in without Bryce Huff who's injured. I was just like thinking like you clearly have not noticed a single
Yeah,
Eagles game because like
yeah.
if he was hurt or if he wasn't, it's the same production.
Hmm.
If you told me he was healthy and played that game, I would have believed you.
Oh yeah, I am I don't want to say excited, but I'm curious to see who steps up. Like I would assume Jalen Hunt's going to get more reps, the rookie, and he's
Or
super
that.
raw, and I'm really he's shown some a little bit of flashes when they put him in, so I'm pretty excited for that. Milton Williams has been really good the last couple of
He
weeks as
has
well.
even Booker and what's his face? Oklahoma.
Okumo yeah, I
The
forget.
interior guys have been great. I mean, the nice thing, and you saw this all game, is Jalen Carter is kind of in
He
his
was very
moment
much
now.
Aaron
He's
Donald
just getting,
yesterday.
oh yeah,
Double
and
teamed
he's
on
just.
90% of his fucking snaps.
That's the thing is like you just need a guy to take advantage of one-on-one
Hmm.
opportunities. Would love to be Nolan Smith, if he can give us more, progression.
Hmm.
But at least, you're not asking him to be a superstar. You're just asking them to beat one-on-one.
Yeah.
And yeah, they might struggle with that, but if you could do it every once in a while, you'll be fine. Like that's why Brandon Graham was eating because he's too good to be blocked one-on-one,
Oh yeah.
even at this point in his career. And Jalen Carter's just at the point where you have to.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall the defense, once again, you know, like they did earlier in the season, they had a little bit of a rough first half, but they adjusted and really shut down
Oh
the
yeah,
Rams
hats
offense. I mean,
off.
that's a great offense they shut down.
The adjustment was incredible. I mean, they got marched on the first two drives. Obviously, they got
Yeah.
the turnover, which was huge. Um, but they were moving without any issue. And then after that, man, they struggled to do anything.
Yeah,
They
they had
could not
a
do a single thing.
the refs were it was the Eagles versus the Rams and the
Oh,
refs because
terrible, terrible calls.
I don't know if I've seen some pretty bad PI calls, but I don't know
That
if I've
one with
ever
the waist,
but I don't know if I've
egregious.
ever seen three of them all in one game that bad. Um, it was just yeah. Both of Slay's were pretty like the end zone one, sure, but the one on Puka, I'm like
It was egregious, man.
he did not impact him
Especially
at
it was the
all.
third and long. Like you just touched them pretty much,
Yeah. But the one
let it
that
play out.
Isaiah Rogers one was just fucking stupid. Like that, I don't know how that's pass interference. Just because he like touched his butt or whatever. But
Yeah, there was a couple questionable calls to say the least. Very, very touchy, ticky tack
I mean
penalties.
Puka did his thing. He found ways to get open.
He's good.
But
I mean, I know he's good, but
you
he
know why? It's
balled
because
out.
he's big. I think
He's
that
tough to tackle.
he's very AJ Brown-esque in a way, like big and
Yeah,
fast.
Darius
Um,
Slay unfortunately figured that one out.
yeah. Sadly, we did have Quinyon Mitchell did give up his first touchdown to Cup.
Mm,
I don't know
sad days.
if he was on him per se, but he was there to make the tackle at the end in the end zone. So
Hey man, I mean, again, another game where I didn't even hear his name mentioned. You know, in a positive
I
way.
saw two throws over to his side, and one he was like 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, so he wasn't going to be able to break that up. And then the other one was like the one speedster guy, Robinson or whatever, like just blazed past him. But like
Yeah.
they were all contained. It's not like he got beat deep or anything like that. It was
I
like a
mean, you're
couple
not going to
yards.
play many better wide receiver groups than
He
the Rams
he
have.
really might not have an interception all season because they're just not gonna. He'll have to pray that one gets tipped over to his side, you know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and that's why like Slay would be nice. I mean, I hope he's not. I think it was just concussion,
he had
but
a concussion, yeah.
he's been giving up some plays, but like you kind of appreciate him more a little bit, especially when Rodgers came out there and they immediately picked
Oh
on him
yeah.
because Quinion's been so good that Slay has almost been just the guy that teams try to pick on. And yeah, they've made plays against him, but they can't pick on him. He's too good.
He'll give up a couple. Like honestly, the only thing with Slay that I've seen as a problem is just his speed. He just has lost a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
But like he's still like he multiple times in that game he was wrapped around Puka. Like Puka just made a great catch, or Stafford. Stafford also was like one of the craziest accurate. Like
Yeah,
he
I
is some of the
mean,
best arm talent I've ever seen from a quarterback. So
the combination of Stafford and Puka isn't going to be
yeah,
rivaled by many teams.
yeah. But yeah. So defense is awesome, as you would like to call it.
Big fan.
And I mean, you know me, big secondary guy. So when our corners and safeties are playing well, I am very, very
All for
happy.
it.
So,
Gotta love it. But
but
I mean, pass rush was the biggest thing. I thought that was. I know you love your corner play, but the pass rush was just ruining Stafford's
yeah, I think
life.
we had five, and they were getting there quick too,
I know he had no choice. There was
which
just
was
nothing he could do.
pretty wild. You know what was actually craziest, and this will be the last defensive thing I'll comment on is we, I think it was the play right before halftime. Stafford, like they're playing prevent. Like everybody is back. We had three pass rushers against their entire line and a running back. and Josh Sweat like, got a sack on
Yeah.
a prevent defense where the only three players are rushing the quarterback. Like
Oh, they could
I was
not
like,
stop him to be
that's
safe.
crazy. I'd be so pissed if that happened to the Birds on a prevent fucking.
Yeah.
But we would be remiss not to highlight. Honestly, I mean, we're just saying how could we have predicted that we'd be on a 7 game win streak? Could we have predicted that Quinyon would come along so fast and the defense would get so good? And could we have predicted Saquon Barkley?
I
Just,
mean,
just
I was buying all the stock. I was mortgaging
listen.
everything
So
on
was
offensive
I,
play of the year.
but
Like
not
he
this.
surpassed all expectations.
He already has more rushing yards through 11 games with the Eagles than he did any season with the Giants.
Oh, he's incredible. This
Like over
is
1,300 yards rushing.
I was thinking like arguably already, like pending a disaster. This has got to be one of the greatest offensive seasons we've ever seen. Maybe, TO's is the only one at this point I can see rivaling them.
Hmm.
Because, the Super Bowl team was great and there was a couple good years, but those were more like, balanced offenses. Just pure like skill position. I mean, Shady had a couple good years.
Yeah,
I don't think he's doing
Shady almost hit 2,000 1 year total
he
yards.
did he
Or
led
he
the
did
league in
go over,
rushing,
I
yeah.
forget. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, still, this is something else. Now, before we gush anymore, I will put a
Mm.
cautionary tale. I really, really am getting nervous by this usage. They need to get like a third running back or something
From
because
where?
I've only seen one running back in the last 20 years be able to consistently handle this workload. Um, and that's Derrick Henry. And now
Mm.
Derrick Henry is a different human and he's doing it again, but I've only seen one running back do that consistently. And I know Barkley's great this year, but we still have Barkley going forward. Like I'm not going to get ahead to next year, but the offense runs through him. But
Yeah.
I think they need a third running back. Are we the only team in the league that doesn't use a third running back?
I don't even know who our third running back
I
is.
don't think we have
Oh,
one.
it's
Like,
Shipley. Yeah, we use Shipley.
oh yeah, I'm not seeing enough of Shipley. But they need like
Mm.
you need like just someone that can run in between the tackles. Like Gainwell and Shipley are good, but those are like your third down, passing down kind of guys. I wouldn't mind having one guy that just runs in the middle of the pile every once in a while because right now Barkley kind of does all of that. And
Yeah.
granted, he's really good, but you don't really need him. He's really good because he kind of wears out the defense and just they get tired as he goes along, kind of like what
Mm.
Derrick Henry does. But man, now that we've completely just changed our identity and it is running the ball and only running the ball pretty much, it makes you nervous when you see him take all these hits. And especially with a guy like this who had two 70-yard touchdown runs. Like you don't necessarily need him to have 26 carries like he did this week.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I
Kenneth
think
Gainwell had five in a game that was over by the freaking fourth quarter.
I mean,
Kenny
granted,
Pickett came in.
well, he took it. He was just taking knees, but granted, he was only his count really didn't rise until the fourth quarter. Like his touches were not that high. He was just fucking 270 yard runs. That'll do it. But um,
Well, yeah.
at the end, I was a little like he was getting like 2, 3 yards on a carry, and they just kept giving him the balls. Like that's when I would be like, okay, give it to Gainwell or somebody else. But Sirianni did say in his press conference that Saquon does a really good job of like, knowing when his body needs like a quick rest. So he'll sub himself out like, almost after every huge run he does.
Yeah, I did see that.
Which like I'm
This
fine with if that's like his way of staying healthy. Like if that's, you know.
so last three of the last 4 weeks. Take away the Cowboys game, which was a complete blowout, so you didn't really need them much.
Mm,
Jags game, Commanders, and this Rams game. 26, 26, 27 carries. Just carries, nothing in the passing game.
mm.
Those are like those add up. I mean, and I think the what you're seeing now more and more is they're going heavier and heavier. Like I don't see them cutting back. Like I don't think it changes. I think this is the offense going forward. Not that it's
I mean,
bad. I mean, it's
it
clearly working.
it also would not shock me if even for, now everybody's, calculating. I think the number now is like to be Eric Dickerson's record, rushing record. It's like 118 yards a game for the rest of the season, which like he could totally do. But I don't I wouldn't be surprised if defenses like hone in on stopping the run against the Eagles now, especially with, I mean, besides we really only have Baltimore and Pittsburgh left. That's really because then we
Right.
have the Panthers, Washington, Dallas, and the Giants. All those teams besides Washington are they're not.
I mean, we talked about
They're
this.
also the worst rushing defenses. Some of those teams. So
I mean, we did talk about this though. Like the first seed is very much in our control. And we were talking about we could get the first seed dropping the Steelers and the Ravens game. Like we've already done the part. I mean, not saying we're going to drop them.
I don't know. The Lions are. I mean, Eagles look scary, but the Lions look pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, but you know what? The Lions schedule gets very tough at the end of where ours is very easy. Like this is our tough stretch. The Lions is cake. Or I'm sorry, the Lions is very tough at the end of the year. That I could see them dropping 2 games. We went over this. They got to play Green Bay, then the Bills, then they got to go to Chicago, play the Niners in San Fran, and they end with the Vikings.
Hmm.
Now, in Chicago is probably not that impressive. They play Chicago on Thanksgiving, but that's still a division team. The Packers are going to be a tough game. The Bills will definitely be a tough game.
Yeah.
Assuming the Niners can stay in it, going to San Francisco second week of the season, where the Niners probably need a win to get in a wild card, that is going to be a tough one. And then finish the year with the Vikings, who are 9-2, very much could be the division.
Yeah. I'm surprised the Vikings are still right there too. Sam
Uh,
Darnold
you
has
know,
actually been better than he's been. I thought he was going to drop off, but he's stayed consistent.
I would write off I mean, Thanksgiving game against the Bears. I don't think they're going to have much trouble in Detroit. But then you have 5 games that I think realistically are going to be difficult. The worst team are going to be the Bears and the Niners record wise, and you're going to both those both away games.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think on paper though, everyone wants to see NFC Championship game Eagles Lions because that'll just be a offensive juggernaut fest.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I would
Lions and the Eagles are a
I would
mile ahead of everyone else.
probably give I'd probably give the Lions a very slight edge on offense. Like you factor in like play calling as well. But then defensively, Eagles I think are much better, and
I think yeah,
not having Hutchinson in the playoffs is going to be I think way bigger than people think. So,
I think they can. I think you can throw on the Lions. I'm not. I think their pass rush isn't what it was with Hutchinson.
hmm.
I think we can move on their defense. You
Oh, for
just have to
sure.
keep up with them,
Yeah,
scoring
yeah.
points.
But I mean, look, like
But
AJ had 109 yards and a touchdown yesterday, and no one even mentioned it. Like 100 yards is not like, a cakewalk. But
yeah, but you know what the other thing is? I need to see. I like when Devontae Smith comes back,
mhm.
they need to work on like more play action, more airing out the ball. You have 2 superstar wide receivers that they need to like take some of the pressure off Saquon. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's the other fault is passing the ball is so tough when it's only AJ Brown or it's only Devontae Smith because they have really no one else. Dotson stinks. Covey, Johnny Wilson. I don't know who you want to throw out there. Greg Calcaterra, I'll make an argument, is your
I
number 3
like
wide
that. I mean,
receiver.
I like that they've been trying to get Wilson more involved. Dotson,
That's gone. He
I don't know
stinks.
what it is. I still don't know if it's just Jalen's not seeing him or what it is, but I don't know. I don't see how he's not able to get more involved. It's very baffling. He has like 100 yards on the season. It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Well, I mean, he's had plenty of opportunities. Brown's been hurt and Devontae Smith's been hurt.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Devontae's having a weird season. I mean, he's missed a couple missed a couple games, but he's like on pace to be I think he's on pace for like 800 yards maybe. So,
With the missed games, I mean, they feed off each other. Him and Brown. I mean, Brown is more because he's so good after the catch.
but what I would assume is, if a team shuts down, like Saquon had one game where he had like 40 yards. Wasn't it the Browns game? He had like 40 yards or something, or he like really wasn't that effective.
I
Um,
don't think I've ever used the word Saquon Barkley and not effective this entire season. So I don't recall any game where he wasn't effective. Even the early weeks, I remember him making massive plays, and that was kind of what was winning us games.
No, I think there was one he like there was definitely a game where he did not get over 100
All right,
rushing.
okay, good memory. 18 carries for 47 yards against the Browns.
Yeah. Or even the
AJ
Cowboys, he only
Brown,
had 66 rushing yards.
he didn't have many carries in that game.
Yeah,
AJ
14.
Brown went for 116. That was when Devontae Smith was there, and he also went from 64.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing with the passing game, though. If they're both not out there, they really struggle.
I mean, yeah, because no one else is stepping up. I mean, Jalen's I think one thing I do like is Jalen's been running a lot more this year. I feel like that was something we complained about last year, that he was seemed like he was timid to run. But now he'll he'll commit to it. Some of the designed quarterback runs yesterday, I did not like.
Oh,
Um,
right before what the hell
that
was
was the
that? You ran
dumbest
it
fucking thing I've
twice.
ever
I
seen.
don't get that at
Because
all.
A,
Get the field
you're
goal.
giving the Rams the ball back in good position, and B,
You're gonna lose. You're gonna run out of time.
yeah,
You just need to get a field goal.
I was so confused by that.
That made no
But
sense. None of that made sense at all. I
no,
don't get that. At that point, if that's what the play you're gonna run, just take a kneel. You
but
know,
if the ideal scenario is fully healthy on the offense. You know, you have Devontae, AJ, Saquon, Goddard, full line, Jalen. That if they shut down, no, you don't shut down AJ Brown, but if he's somehow limited, you run the ball, you go through Devontae maybe. If Saquon gets shut down, you throw it, get the tight ends involved, throw it to Devontae and AJ. If somehow their secondary is really good and all of our passing game sucks, they're gonna run it with Saquon or start some, running back screens and shit. So this team is well equipped to, and we've seen them be able to adjust throughout the game. So I think they're really well equipped to, find a way to win no matter what the opponent's giving them. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we went from, misery 2-2 and panicking and wondering what we were going to do to like now this team is this is I mean, I would say Lions, Bills, Eagles are the top three teams in the NFL right now. Ravens and
yeah.
Chiefs are right there, but like even
No,
the
I
Chiefs
mean, I'm
haven't looked
not.
great
Yeah, but I'm
times.
telling you, this is the most dangerous Chiefs team I've seen because they can just win. They just
Oh yeah,
win.
for
It doesn't
sure. I'm
matter.
not, yeah, I'm
They
not
just
writing off the
win.
Chiefs by any means. I'm just saying like as the once we get to the playoffs, it's blank, blank records. Chiefs will
I
be
mean, to
fine.
final thoughts, defense A plus. They're
Oh yeah.
great. I'm very sad about BJ
Especially after
getting.
that first drive.
Oh, Fangio's system is working. All the players are balling. Brandon Graham, man, that one is gonna hurt. Obviously, it hurts your emotions,
Yeah.
but it hurts your team a lot. Bryce
Yeah.
Hoff better find out this surgery or healing, whatever. I don't even know what's her ankle, wrist. I don't even remember because it
Yeah,
makes no
someone's
difference.
wrist.
Yeah, when he comes back, he better find it because we desperately need it now. But offensively, I think it's clicking. I like everything I'm seeing. I think you'd be foolish to not say you're not worried about this load on Saquon, especially a guy that's had injuries. There's only one running back I can ever think of that does this and never gets hurt, and that's Henry. And I don't know. I'd like to see us spread the ball more. I get, not having a third wide receiver, not having really another power back is kind of showing itself. You don't have much depth on offense. I think you're
Hmm.
seeing quite a bit. You have no receiving options outside of Brown and Smith. Gainwell's nice, but he's not built for all the running plays that Saquon handles. I think that exposed itself a little bit more by
Yeah.
you needing him. But I mean, at the end of the day, with the offensive line you have and the four skill players you have, you're still going to win a lot of games. So
I'm I'm not too concerned because we're already 12 games in at this point, or 11, 9 to 11 games. Um, so we got seven more here, or six. I can't do math, but six more, I think. Um, I again, I think I would assume Giants game he rests the last game of the year because I don't I think they'll have the East locked up by then.
revenge game
Um,
though, always a revenge game.
yeah, I mean, but wouldn't it be funny though if because from what I so obviously for those who aren't aware, Daniel Jones was cut last, well, I guess a couple days ago by the Giants.
Cleared waivers
Um,
though.
he did clear waivers today, Monday, 4 o'clock. What Adam Schefter said is that he wants to go to a contender, most likely, He doesn't really want to go to Oakland where, they just lost Gardner Minshew for the year with broken collarbone, which that has to be a painful injury to sustain on the field.
Yeah.
Um, so it would be hilarious if he signed with the Eagles as backup because Saquon apparently was like that was like his best friend. So he'd be like, "Hey, Howie, just he's better than Kenny Pickett. I'd
He's
take
definitely
fucking
better than
Danny
Kenny
Dimes
Pickett.
to
I
Kenny
mean,
Pickett."
Daniel Jones stinks, but he is definitely better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. But her apparently Ravens or 49ers makes a lot of sense. But
Yeah. It's better than what they have now.
yeah, I don't know what they but
They're
we'll
a
get into those
disaster.
teams. But yeah, any final thoughts on the birds?
Just keep rolling, man. Keep rolling. It's gonna be a big test this week of the Baltimore. Baltimore's got
Yeah.
a terrible pass defense. I'd really like to see them air it element. I don't know if Smith's gonna play. Hamstring, I probably guess he won't.
Well, I think so. Yeah, there's a game tonight because we're recording on Monday. It's the Hardball Bowl, Chargers and Ravens. S Roquan Smith is out, and so is Hamilton. So
I mean, their
that's
pass defense stunk before they got hurt. I think they're the worst
yeah,
pass defense in the
which
league.
is crazy because they have good players back there, but I just mm.
I mean, McDaniel left. They don't have much pass rush. I don't know, but I mean, listen, if there's ever one week to air it out, I'd like to see it just. I'd like to see it to just evolve the offense. Like let teams know that you can throw it. I don't. I think it's probably a long shot that Smith plays, but still, give me some Dallas Goedert. Let me see some Calcaterra. Big fan of Calcaterra.
I mean, I don't doubt that teams like I mean, they did that a couple times. Like AJ was getting some chunk catches because they were trying to, to stop the run, so they put more in the box. But I'm not too concerned. I mean, Jalen's doing what he's being asked to do. Like, I think he's like top 18 in passing yards because he doesn't really have to throw, and Saquon's rushing for
It's true.
2,000
I
yards.
mean, you
So
say he is using his legs more, which is nice. And I've
it,
seen it
yeah,
more like those plays where he takes sacks. They
he's
don't really
he's
happen anymore.
probably had at least 30 rushing yards in like the last few games
I
each
mean,
game. So
look at it. He's not taking those sacks. He hasn't
no,
fumbled. You know that
knock on
things have
wood.
kind of yeah. It's a big change. He had 12 carries. I mean, he
Yeah,
takes a
yeah.
couple shots that I would prefer him not to
Oh, he
take. But
got fucking walloped in a couple of those hits, but
yeah, and again, I'd prefer him not to take those.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's why running two design quarterback runs right before half is stupid. If you need to scramble, let it be. Instead of taking a sack. But I don't really like the design quarterback runs all that much.
yeah. We shall see. But elsewhere, there were other games. There was a lot of teams on a bye this week, so there were actually only 13 games instead of 16. But we had a Thursday night game, and it was a winter wonderland. It snowed in Ohio. I think the field was actually clean before the game started, and then by the end of it, it was like packed with snow. But the Browns came out on top, beating the Steelers 24-19, just as we started saying the Steelers for real. They blow a divisional game against the Browns in Cleveland, but
Yeah, I listen, all for Jameis. I don't get the George Pickens is an odd character. I
he
think he's
is
leaning towards the sides where I don't like him. I don't think anyone does. How do you
I
complain about the snow? Like you're not in Miami. You play for Pittsburgh. It'll definitely snow in Pittsburgh at some point this year.
it wouldn't the Steelers cannot be a team unless they have a wide receiver that's a little bit deranged. Like I feel like that's just part of their MO at this point. Like I don't know. He is definitely a little weird, but
Yeah,
um
it's a tough one. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, the snow is a big thing. I think the bigger thing, I mean, because they were passing the ball pretty well. Najee Harris continues to do absolutely nothing, continues to be a completely mediocre running back. I think he had 2.6 yard average for 16 carries. Like
but
he's kind of like
he's better
the
than Derrick Henry, right? Isn't that what we
he's he's pretty much at the point. He is the Daniel Jones of running backs.
his
He's not very
backup Ward
good.
is better.
I know that's what I mean. Like he's not very good, but he still gets a ton of carries. Like they
Yeah.
just keep forcing him out there, but he's really not good.
Yeah, I don't know. Most games ended as they should have score wise or who victory wise, but one upset that was kind of surprising. The Titans beat the Texans 32-27. And I mean Will Levis threw a really bad pick six, but I mean he threw
Yeah.
some good touchdown. He had a couple good big throws though, so well,
What does this tell
I told you
you?
Texans. I told you Texans are a little
Yeah,
suspect
I'm
this
thinking
year.
that. Yeah, does this tell you more like the Titans are decent or the
No,
Texans are maybe
it
Texans
tells
are
me
now
that
7-5.
I mean teams drop games that they shouldn't all the time, but Texans just have not looked like the powerhouse they were last year at all, like at any point this year.
I mean, he couldn't run the ball. 14 carries for 22 yards for Joe Mixon.
I will say, surprisingly, if you look at like defensive stats, the Titans defense is like up there. Like they're, I don't know why or how, but their defense is really good, like statistically this year. But
You know what's the problem with the Texans? I'm looking at their games. Their defense stinks. They have
which is
never
shocking from a D'Amico Ryan's coach team.
they've given up at least 20 points to every single team they've played. And that includes 21 points to the Jets, 20 points to the Colts, who looked awful this
Hmm.
week, 21 points to the Patriots. They
Hmm.
gave up 20 to the Jaguars.
Hmm.
They gave up, I apologize. The only game they didn't give up 20 points this year to was week 2 to the Bears. They gave up only 13.
Okay.
But I mean, over 20 points every single week, minus week 2. That is, oh, I apologize. The Cowboys were also in there. I didn't see that. So the Cowboys only mustered up 10 points last week.
Hmm.
But it's definitely a level for concern. You don't want to see Will Levis get scored 32 points.
No, no. Um, Interesting for sure. And then we had a streak of three 1 o'clock games that were like balls to the wall for no reason. Um, you had the Chiefs and the Panthers tied at 27 in the fourth quarter. Um, the Chiefs
Good for
came
the
out and
Panthers.
won, but like, holy shit! Like,
Good for the
I didn't really
Panthers.
watch, but I don't know if the Panthers just been playing really well, or if the Chiefs are just not. Their defense has
No, I
been a
think
little iffy lately, which is surprising.
Carolina they played pretty well. I caught a little bit of the end of that game. They played well. Young made some good plays. Hubbard was
Pretty
made
quiet,
some good
looks
runs.
like.
They were coming after Mahomes. Mahomes got sacked quite a bit.
Hmm. He threw three tutties though.
I mean, he's still Patrick Mahomes. He can throw 3 tutties in his sleep.
I mean, that's true.
He got
Um,
sacked 5 times though.
Damn. So that was a bit of a shocker. Then we had, I mean, not much of a shocker, but the Bears once again losing on a heartbreak finisher.
Mm.
Um,
They just don't know how to win.
no, the Vikings won 30-27 in overtime on a field goal. Um, and yeah, it was they're just not a good team. And I said this earlier in the season that they were just caught lightning in a bottle and looked, nice for a couple weeks, but they just can't. I mean, they were competitive with the Vikings, so we'll give them credit, but I just don't.
I mean, they looked good at that. They scored 17
Caleb
points
looked
in the fourth
better.
quarter.
Caleb looked better.
I mean, they were down 24-10 going into the fourth quarter, and they
Yeah,
ran off 17 points.
yeah.
And they look good. I mean, they're great up until the winning part. They just can't win. That's their problem. They look very good. They make a lot of plays. Hell, they'll even make a nice comeback. They just can't win.
Yeah. I don't know. But so yeah, Vikings took that one. And then this one, I don't know if I watched this, so this was wild, but just a question. If I said the final score was 24-17, you think that would have been like, that's like a normal game. That's like a good score, right?
It's a fair score. Yeah, it's a
It's a good
common
score.
one.
So the Cowboys beat the Commanders 34-26. But in the fourth quarter, Dallas scored 24 points and Washington scored 17. Like that, the last 5 minutes of this game were fucking insane.
Great
Like
game.
it was so entertaining. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I was locked in because I was like, you know what? I'm a big Cowboys fan right now. I was
It
rooting for the
was
Cowboys
it
hard.
was it was 10-9 going into the fourth quarter. And it finished 34-26. Like that doesn't happen. That doesn't make
I
sense.
I was watching a good amount of that game just because there wasn't as many as you said, and I really did want the Cowboys to win. I was watching it with a Cowboys fan too,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, this is rough.
Hmm.
What was it? Missed field goal, fumble, and blocked field goal were the first 3 possessions. It's like, man, no, this Dallas Cowboy life is tough. And then it got really exciting, and then there was like moments like onside kick, the touchdown to McLaurin that was inexcusable,
Yeah.
and then they still somehow won.
It was yeah, to paint a quick picture, like So Dallas went up. They kicked a field goal and scored a touchdown. They were up 20-9. Then our boy Zach Ertz still doing stuff in with Washington. Scored a touchdown, made it a 3-point game. And then and so they went for two, got it. So it was a 3-point game. They kick it off, and the Cavante Turbin returned it 99 yards for a touchdown. Did a wicked spin. Well, first he muffed it, then
It's
did a
Sean
wicked spin
Jackson-esque.
move, and it was very Deshaun Jackson-esque. Wicked spin move and basically like offset everyone, and then just took it 99 yards. Um, Washington then drove down the field, kicked a field goal, made it a two-score game. I believe they got the onside kick.
They
But
did.
yeah. And then Terry McLaurin, when the Cowboys are playing prevent defense, they're playing prevent defense, scored an 86-yard touchdown and weaved past like six Cowboys defenders. It was the funniest shit I ever saw. And
Yeah.
then the kicker misses the extra point to tie. They onside kick
Beautiful.
again. The Cowboys recover, and then they take it for a touchdown instead of just going on the ground. And so the Washington still has a chance to tie it. It was fucking
Ah, you know
nuts.
what?
It was
Listen, go
nuts.
for it. It's great, very, very entertaining. One of the more entertaining games this season.
Must see TV.
Awful to watch. The first half was painful. Second half, beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, that game was nuts for sure. Um, and then we had the Dolphins been looking pretty good with Tua back at the helm. They won 34-15 over the Patriots. Um, they could sneak in that wild card spot in the AFC. They've
Making
been playing
me
well.
look a lot better because I was high on them going into the season.
I mean, Panthers almost beat the Chiefs. I mean,
Hey,
it's a
listen,
W for some.
this is what happens. You play with your backup quarterback. You can't score more than 3 points. You bring your starting quarterback up, and now you're scoring 30 at minimum.
Yeah, the points per game different. The points per game in yards difference with Tua and McDaniels versus McDaniels and a backup is like night and day, which I mean makes
Yeah,
sense. But
it's
um,
not an easy offense for, I guess, any quarterback.
yeah. Lions a bit of a quiet day scoring wise, only scored 24 points, but beat the Colts 24-6. Jonathan Taylor was pretty much shut down. Um, but yeah, Lions keep rolling. Crazy that they are. I never, we've been watching football for a while. Still crazy to me that the Lions are just a dominant team now for once. We had
It is weird.
so many years of
Yeah,
even when they had Stafford and Megatron, they were never,
no, they were terrible.
anything special. But um Buccaneers beat the Giants 30-7. Fun fact, the Saquon Barkley had more total yards than the Giants' entire offense. So
Just a brutal situation there.
it's
Malik
the I
Neighbors just going off. I like even sticking up for Daniel Jones. Like you kind of feel bad for Daniel Jones now that the dust has settled.
I mean
Because
now yeah,
you got like
yeah.
Barkley saying like, it's not on him. Neighbors basically saying like, no, we suck. It wasn't him.
Hmm.
We suck with him. We suck without him. The whole
Yep.
team sucks. Just a bad position. I mean, we've seen what happened when Barkley left. I mean, I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to light the world on fire, but it's just a bad franchise.
Yeah. And I mean, I would preface by saying, anyone who's like, wow, look at what the Giants could have had. It's like, well, okay, you did have Barkley, but you never had a good offense around him. You never had a good line. Now you see what he does with the top. I mean, the Eagles line is probably number one right now, but what you do with a top five offensive line and give him a chance to view the field and get in some open space. That's where he excels. But yeah, they are rough. Buccaneers put on the Mike Evans was back. He got in the end zone, I think. Um, and Baker Mayfield. It's hard to not like the guy, but he it was either a screen or a handoff. The running back of the Bucks took it outside and broke it free for like a huge gain, and all of a sudden you see Baker Mayfield running down the middle of the field throwing blocks for his running back. I'm like, he's a gamer.
I love
He's an athlete.
I love he scored one of the touchdowns. I think it was the rushing one, and he put up
Most
the
aggressive like Italian
yeah, well, the cutlets
Danny
thing,
Dime
yeah.
or yeah,
And I
what's his
love
name?
they
Tommy
asked him after the
Cutlets.
game, and he's just like, "Well, listen, I know the New York fans love it. They love that, so I just wanted to do it for them." Like, Like you kind of like heard it and you're like, wow, I think he's being genuine. Like he just wanted to do it because the fans like it. But you also like, dude, you are such a dick. They like it when
Oh,
their guy does it, not when the other team does it. It's
well,
not the gesture of the thumbs that they enjoy.
what was wild is there was a reporter who was like pressing him on these questions. She was like, excuse me, she was like, "Oh, well, like, what made you want to do that? Like, did you decide to do it before the game started? Like, are you Italian? Like, but it was just a celebration. Like, it was not that deep.
She's
Clearly
clearly a
was
Giants
offended.
fans. Yeah, she's clearly a Giants fans.
But yes, Malik Neighbors was in a post game interview, just basically said, "Yeah, we suck," and Danny Dimes wasn't the problem. So you
Yeah.
said this a couple episodes ago about you're shocked that Dable hasn't been fired yet, but I don't see. I mean, I these are the Giants, so it wouldn't shock me. But in a normal world, I don't see any way how this entire front office is intact
Oh
by the
God,
by
yeah,
by the
yeah.
offseason. Like Dable's a good guy for sure, but you got to change the culture there. When your own players are calling out, the front office for cutting players who weren't the problem and stuff.
It's
Um,
just a disaster.
but yeah, the GM's got to go, Dable's got to go. It's
I mean, not even that, but like cutting your starting quarterback in the middle of the season. You see coaches get fired in the middle of the season more than you see a quarterback just like not just demoted. Like you just cut him completely. You just released him.
Does it make it worse that he asked to get released and they were like, yeah, sure, no problem.
I mean, yeah. The situation has gotten so bad for him. Like he's taking so much heat. He's not going to play. Like what would he want to be there for? What have the Giants done for him? They've
Yeah.
let him just he's been ridiculed and brutalized since he got drafted.
And I think he grew up a Giants fan, which, that sucks.
I
But
don't think that's going to stay true anymore.
but who knows? Um, the surprise team, I don't know if they're really a threat, but Broncos win again, 29-19 over the Raiders. Um, Man, Raiders have been really, really disappointing. I mean, I didn't expect
Yeah, they
much,
stink.
but I thought they were going to push for like that seventh wild card spot. But hopefully they give Pierce another year. I wouldn't fire him off his first year, but he has not been doing a good job there. And
I
obviously
mean,
you
the
need
team's not good.
yeah, I thought the defense would have been better based on last year, but they're
I
should have kept
mean,
Josh
yeah.
Jacobs or something. I don't know what they're doing, but
They really aren't that good. Crosby's good. Wilkins, he didn't play, but he's okay. Like,
yeah, I thought
who
that
else
that
do you
combo
have?
would have been a lot more lethal,
I
but
don't think Wilkins has played much. I think
yeah,
Crosby missed a couple games. Like, he's not much there. Team's not very good.
no, no. But Bo Nix is looking pretty good for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Um, Seahawks beat the Cardinals 6-16. Really weird score. So technically they are leading the NFC West
Hey, they
like
were my
6-5.
They were my team going into the season.
And
Dolphins and Seahawks suddenly making me look smart again.
yeah, well, we'll see. The Packers smacked the 49ers ass 38-10. 49ers didn't have Brock Purdy. Um, so they really couldn't. I don't even know who the hell was playing quarterback for them, but didn't really get much going. They dropped to
Not
5-6. So
not even the quarterback really. Like they just look off.
they
Their
look
defense isn't very good.
they look
Ton of
defeated.
penalties.
They just look like they
So
don't
many
want to.
penalties.
They're very much like I don't want to sound like a homer, but you look at the Eagles and Saquon's going around saying, "Hey, we broke the rushing record," like talking to his linemen. Everyone's very together. It's a very team first team. Then you go to San
Hey,
Fran, it's like Debo Samuel, and he's a fucking head case, and you got Kittle. I mean, Kittle's more of a team guy, but I don't know. It's just a
you know
weird
what it
like they
is?
don't seem very like together. You know what I'm
Culture.
saying? Like
We have an elite cultural coach. That's Nick's craft.
that's
Who wants
that's the
Kyle
only thing he's
Shanahan?
got going.
Kyle Shanahan, why would you want him? Offensive genius. You don't want that. You need a culture guy. You need a Nick Sirianni.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they're I don't they could still make the playoffs, but they're looking bleak, which is great for us. I hate the 49ers. So, of
Yeah.
course, the Eagles beat the Rams 37-20. Surprisingly, I mean, the game, it I wasn't really like feeling safe until probably the fourth quarter till Saquon's 70-yard run. I don't,
Yeah.
because the Rams kept like staying in it. They were always down like just a score, just a score. And then we put it away the, 16 by 16 points up. And then, all right, I feel good now. But
Well, they scored pretty quickly. I mean, it wasn't like they did have
yeah.
long, like they drove the field, like had distance, long drives, but they did it pretty quickly.
And I mean, the Eagles were heavily favored in this game, but like Rams only had so many losses because they were so injured early in the season. They've
No,
won like five of the last six games. So like
I
Eagles
don't think
beat
the
a
Rams are a
good
bad team.
no,
Like
Eagles beat
I
a good
think
team.
this was the best win they've had all year because of the quality of the opponent and the beatdown they gave them. Like this game wasn't as close as the score says it was.
No. And then like I said, we're recording this on a Monday, and so Ravens Chargers still have to play tonight. That's at 8 o'clock. So that's actually, I mean, technically the Chargers are ahead of the Ravens. So this is a pretty big game. So we'll see what happens.
It'd be a good measuring stick for both teams.
Chargers, if the Chargers win this, they are the quietest 8-3 team I've ever seen in my life.
That's
But
true. Yeah.
on to studs and duds, and of course, I mean, you could honestly
Obviously one
start
of
at
them.
number one stud if you wanted, because if it's not this guy, I don't know what you're
It's the
smoking.
one. It's one of the most obvious like studs we've ever done. You know,
But crack
the
that shit
Homer
open.
effect in one of the best weeks I've ever seen. Um, but yeah, we'll kick it off. We're gonna go with a from one of the bigger games, one of the more exciting games of the week, I would say.
Hmm.
From one of the most exciting teams in football. Gotta go with the young guy, Jordan Addison. Eight
Hmm.
receptions for 162 yards and a tutty.
Oh.
Deep threat, man. The Vikings were spreading the field. Hawkinson had a nice game. Justin Jefferson had two catches for 27 yards. So they clearly made that a priority to shut him down. And Jordan Addison stepped up and he balled out.
Hmm.
It's good to see. Good to see for the young fellow. So yeah, he's kicking off the stud list there. Next one, we touched on this already. The difference a starter and a backup makes. Because man, since he's come back, he's been cooking. 29 of 40, 317 yards, and four tutties. They ran the ball like 17 times and scored 34 points.
Hmm.
A Chain had 10 carries for 32 yards, and Wright had seven for 28. Hardly big numbers. Tua was just slinging the rock and doing whatever the hell he wanted. Jalen Waddle had 144, 87 for Smith.
Yeah, he
Not much
finally
from
had a
Hill.
breakout game.
Yeah, Tua's brought the team back to life, which you kind of expected. So going in a second stud, we got Tua back at it and maybe get the Dolphins in the playoffs. Maybe.
I could see it.
We're
I
gonna
could
need
see
a
it.
little late surge here, but we'll see as it goes along.
Hmm.
And then moving on to the most obvious stud we've ever had. I just let me read you the stat line because we've talked about just how dominant he is, but let's just put it in numbers. 26 carries for 255 rushing yards, two tutties. That's a 9.8 yard clip. Basically a first down every time he touches the ball.
Hmm.
Just for fun, throwing 47 yards through the air and four receptions. So the guy had over 300 scrimmage yards. I think it was one of only three players in NFL history to do that, or maybe I made that up.
Uh, I forget.
It was
I
some
think
ridiculous
I think
stat. I mean, it's
the
the franchise best for rushing yards in a game.
rushing yards, I don't know what Shady's record was, but he beat Shady's record. And then it's I think the 12th time a running back or 12th time a player's had over 250 yards in a game or two, I forget. I was like the ninth best rushing
Yeah, total
um
ever. Yeah,
yeah,
you got so he's in
ever
at
ever
yeah,
NFL history.
number nine, right behind Jamal Charles.
Probably during his
Fun fact, he just so tied for number. There's two players at 10 tied with 253.
okay.
One of them is a former Eagle, and one of them is a current player right now.
Former It's not McCoy.
It's not McCoy, no.
Former Eagle, and one of them is still playing. Well, Derrick Henry
Uh,
probably.
Not Derrick Henry, no. He's actually not even in the top 10. You got Adrian Peterson, Jamal Lewis, Jerome Harrison.
DeMarco
There's a
Murray.
throwback. DeMarco Murray, yes. There's Eagle
Ah,
great. Eagle
Eagle
great.
great. Chip Kelly
Obviously, he didn't
legend.
do that. Yeah, he didn't do that with the Eagles. But yeah, you got some. Jerome Harrison's got to be the most obscure one on there. Wasn't he a returner? I'm thinking of someone else.
Jerome Harrison. Oh, he played on
2009
the
with the Browns.
Browns. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he came. Did he play for the Eagles too?
maybe. I did not clicking. Obviously, AP's first. Jamal Lewis, you got Corey Dillon, and then some of the legends, both Peyton,
Corey Dillon's a
OJ.
big boy to be running for 250 yards.
Yeah, that's true. And then the other one, you got it, current running back.
The what?
Current running back, 253 in a game?
Current running back. Not Derrick Henry.
No.
Is he older?
Won't surprise you. No, no, I wouldn't say he's older. He's one of the better running backs in the NFL.
Okay. Don't McCaffrey?
Jonathan Taylor.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. What game? How long ago was that?
21. I think that was the big year. The year he led
Okay.
the year you didn't
I
think he was a top
vaguely
10 running back.
remember. Did Alvin Kamara not have like a 200-yard game? He
Not,
had
well,
that like
maybe. I mean, this is just the top 10 for
didn't
253.
he have like six touchdowns at Christmas or something ridiculous?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many yards he had, but
Hmm.
so Mr. Saquon Barkley an insane 255 yards per carry, ninth best in NFL history. Insane, truly one of the best running back games we've ever seen in our entire life.
Hmm.
So number one stud, I mean, he's making a run for MVP at this point. He's resetting the market because between him, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon had a bad game this week, but he's been pretty good all year. And even throw Josh Jacobs in there. Running backs are doing well. And then look at the teams that didn't spend on running backs. The Dallas Cowboys struggling quite a bit. So renaissance for the running backs.
Um,
Moving. Go ahead.
Real quick, Jerome Harrison did play for the Eagles in 2010.
Wow.
So I was right.
Three former Eagles in that list.
That's actually
Only,
pretty cool.
but
But
only one of them did it with the Eagles.
yeah, so, well, whatever.
Take what you can get.
Yeah,
Alrighty, moving on. So actually, we were just talking about this guy, funny enough. This is how I do, segues are beautiful.
we
This is
love a
how
good
I set it
segue.
up. So, guys on the top 10 list for most rushing yards in a game, but man, when you needed him to step up, he's supposed to be your number one offensive option. I was just saying the running backs are having a renaissance, but he is called part of the counter renaissance because ever since he got his contract, he has done nothing. And when they in a game where his team only managed to put up 6 points and his young quarterback could really use him, he had 11 carries for 35 yards
Hmm.
and a fumble. Really, really let down. Really has not been the same since he signed that deal. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor finding himself on the dud list here.
Yeah, I was I was pretty surprised when I saw that. It was funny because I played against him in fantasy, but I also played against Saquon Barkley in two different leagues. So it was safe to say I did not win this weekend. But
Rough week.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely someone who's really fallen off. I don't know. Maybe he needs to get away from Indianapolis.
he just got
Maybe
an
Indianapolis.
extension, did he not?
Yeah, like 2 years ago, a year ago, maybe.
No, it was
Maybe not a
last
year
year because he
ago.
was holding out,
Yeah,
right?
maybe it was one. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it was last year.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think he
know.
anticipated the Colts to fall off like they have, but
Yeah, they're not look good. Richardson doesn't look great. Steichen's
no.
gonna feel some heat.
Yeah, we'll see.
Moving on. Moving on to a guy, going from a guy you obviously know to a guy I'd be shocked if you ever heard his name.
Try
Really
me.
poor effort by this team. They looked in shambles. We talked about them a little bit. They just look off. They look like they're lost. They don't look very well coached. They had 9 penalties, and three of them came from Dominic Pooney.
You're right.
So
I've not
dropping
heard
that
of that guy
name,
name.
what team does Dominic Pooney play for?
Uh, Pony has got to be like a cat team, so I'll just say the Jaguars.
That's the most ridiculous
I don't think the
logic
Jaguars
ever.
played this
The
week.
Judge did not play. So yeah. So not a cat team. That would be
Hmm.
the offensive guard for the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Dominic Pooney had 3 penalties.
Hmm.
He was the one, I think there was a little meme or some chatter about Kyle Shanahan losing his shit after one of the penalties. That was Dominic Pooney's fine work. Three of them in one
Hmm.
half. And he let up a sack and he was just getting burned all day.
Damn.
Rough game for the Niners in whole and their young, I think he's second year left guard. So yeah, not a great game for Dominic Pooney. The fact that I know Dominic Pooney's name is tells you everything you need to know.
You're gonna get his jersey.
No, it's just telling you how terrible he is. Come on now. On to the next stud. Ironically, this guy, I think he's the first one I can think of that has done the stud dud double double because he was on the stud list earlier in the
Not the
season. Now
double
he's on the
double.
dud list. There's certain positions, Dakota, in sports that,
Hmm.
in a way, the way you handle the moment and the ice in your veins and how you come up in those big moments is more important than your talent alone. I
Hmm.
would argue that a closer in baseball doesn't necessarily need the best stuff, but he needs to come in and be lights out in the big moments, not get scared off. A goalie in hockey, I mean, that's a
Hmm.
little tougher. You're really not going to go anywhere. But I mean, when there's in those power plays towards the end of the game, the shootouts, you really just got to step up in those big moments.
Hmm.
And an
Hmm.
NFL kicker, again, if you don't need a 60-yard leg if you're
Oh,
just going to
yeah,
drill
yeah.
your extra points and field goals when the game matters. And like this wasn't a 50-yard field goal you missed to end the game. You came up in the most just heartbreaking moment I can remember. And a
Oh my
playoff
God.
team losing to a crap Cowboys team after everything that happened, an extra point we're talking about, not a 50-yard field goal, just an extra point. And Austin Seibert kicked it the wrong way. And that was that. That fun, exciting end of that game did not go well for the Commanders. So Austin Seibert finds his way on top of the dud list this week.
That someone that should have like worn one of those blood pressure monitors if you're a Commanders fan, because I would have been loved to see how you go from losing to winning to, oh, we're gonna, well, I don't think they were leading, but oh, we're gonna get close or we're tying. Oh, we're gonna gotta get on. It's like, oh, we gotta get on. It's like, oh, we're gonna score. Oh, we scored. We missed extra point. Like I like if that was the Eagles, bro.
What breaks? What's the broken monitor? Do we break the punch a hole in the wall? Do you slam down something and shatter it,
That
or do
feels
you just
like
break the
no,
TV?
no, no. That feels like if Jake Elliott missed the extra point and we end up still down when we could be tied. I think that warrants like grabbing the coffee table and just fucking flipping it.
Yeah.
Everything go, all the snacks, all the drinks go flying.
It was just the way he did. It's set up, man. The McLaurin touchdown that should have never happened. You were in it. Yeah.
I
Oh
don't know
well,
what
he
it
finds
is. The
himself.
kickers, man, the first like 8 weeks of the season, they were great. They were random kickers hitting 50-yard field goals. Like it was nothing. And the last couple weeks, it's been like Justin Tucker sucked. Jake Elliott's had a bad game. Now we're having multiple players missing field goals blocked, missed extra points. I don't know what's going on, but it's crazy. So I love the Atlanta film, baby.
All worse when and then nothing's worse than Austin Seibert right now. I guarantee he had a lonely trip home.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good list. He's definitely well deserving of being number one there. Because he probably could have been a stud if he made some of those kicks. But
Yeah.
all right. Time for a little bit of some cheesesteak, some whiz, if you will. So first one, too much whiz. Hold on. I didn't even have it up. I was ill prepared for this.
Jeez, this guy's getting ahead of himself. Get it together.
Too
Show
much whiz.
some.
Too much whiz. Bryce Young is back in the Panthers' plans for future quarterback.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even when they benched him, you couldn't have said he was out of their plans. Second year guy, you gave up everything you could have dreamed of to get him.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah. I think there's a conversation you have in the offseason when they maybe have a chance to draft someone else, but I'm still saying he's a part of their plan. They're not going to give up on him just yet. They don't want to.
Okay. All right. Too much whiz. Sitting at 5-6, currently out of the playoffs, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Atlanta Falcons are leading their division at 6-5. So too much whiz. The Buccaneers are going to win this division.
I'm buying it. I mean, I think the only thing that really slowed them down was the injuries.
Yeah.
Evans was out, Godwin went out. Like the offense just started sputtered. They looked really good before the injuries happened. I mean, they crushed the Eagles. I think I'm still buying the Buccaneers. They get healthy, they'll be fine.
Interesting because the Falcons are 4-1 in their division right now. I don't know. Well, 4-1, so they would have had to play the Bucks already. But So Tampa's 1-2 right now in the division. So hopefully that doesn't come down to a tiebreaker for them, but it's going to be a tight race. And the Falcons have kind of fallen off a little bit the last couple of weeks.
They have,
So
yeah.
we will
Everyone's
see.
going the wrong direction.
Um, but all right. My second too much whiz. Now I'm
This will
not
be your
going to
third one,
or
but
third one.
okay.
Yeah, sorry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm not saying he's going to win MVP because that is a quarterback award at this point. But too much whiz. Saquon Barkley will break Eric Dickerson's rushing record.
Hmm. You said 118 average for the rest of the season?
He'd have to average 118 yards for the next 6 games.
Listen, I'm for it. I'll go with it. 118 considering what he's been doing. If they continue to give him 26 carries every game, then yeah, without a doubt.
His record is set in 1984, 2,105 yards.
Hey, listen, I'm all for it. I think there's a serious chance. 26 carries a game. He averages 26 carries a game for the end of the year. Absolutely. I would have to believe, and I kind of want to see them pull back his carries a little bit
Yeah, same.
because he's so good. He doesn't need 26 carries to dominate. I mean, look what he did on 2 handoffs for 70-yard touchdowns. But if they continue to give him the level he's doing it, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, I will say I think because a lot of people were like he shouldn't be allowed to break the record if it's in 17 games because Dickerson obviously only did it in 16. But I mean, I don't know how you feel about that rule or that like thought, but I think as long as the carries are like within the same realm, like let's say Dickerson had, I don't know, 500 carries and, Saquon comes in with like 510. I think that's fair.
I
Like just
mean,
because he
I
had an
think
extra
so.
game. I mean,
I mean, realistically, they probably will be pretty close because they used to run the ball a lot more when Dickerson was
I'm
there.
gonna predict I'm gonna predict he's not gonna get it, but that it's because the Eagles kind of pull back a little because I feel like division games could be tough though, so we don't really know. But I really don't think he's going to play the last week against the Giants. I think a lot of the stars are going to sit. Um, but never know, never know. So
We shall see.
we shall see. But moving on to game picks. Actually, funny enough, our guest picker for game picks this week was actually at the game. We had
Oh,
Seth, who's been on the pod, I think once or twice, I think once. Um, he was at the game in LA. So
pretty cool.
yeah,
Lots of good luck.
pretty
That was
cool.
definitely an Eagles home game. I heard more
I
EAGLES chants than
I
anything for
was
the
so
Rams.
confused at first. I was like, and I should have known, because Eagles, there's actually a lot of Eagles fans out in Cali. But I was like, why are they cheering for like the Rams penalty? Like what what's happening? And I was like,
My favorite was they
oh,
were
it's the Eagles game.
booing. They were booing the refs when penalties
Yeah.
went against the Eagles. That's the best moment.
Oh, that was something for sure. But yeah, what did he I'm trying to remember what he said. I was like, oh, I texted him, was like, damn, bro, you saw history. He's like, Saquon might actually be the best player I've ever seen in my life. I was like,
It's pretty
hey,
close to
pretty
it.
much. But so Seth was our guest. He went 9-4. Well, 8-4, pending Chargers Ravens game. You went 8-4 as well.
Could
And
have been
I
better.
went 9-3. So
Here we go.
you're still gonna have a 1 game lead on me, but I'm inching closer to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but without further ado, let's crack into our game picks here.
Got
So we're
some
in week
triple headers.
13.
Thanksgiving, baby.
We
Gotta
do.
love some
We
Thanksgiving football.
I'm very excited for all that good Thanksgiving dinner and football. It's a great combo. So, well, we also have a Black Friday game. I forgot about that.
Hmm. That's a first.
Um, no, this is the second year they've done it, I think.
Oh, okay, maybe the
Because I'm
second.
pretty sure they marked it was I vividly remember the Jets were playing on Black Friday last year because every commercial I saw it was they were playing the Rolling Stones song Paint It Black every commercial because it was Black Friday and then like the commercial would go like black and white and kind of cool, but yeah, it was really random. I don't know. But anyways, starting off. Thanksgiving Day. So everyone, happy Thanksgiving. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bears at the Lions. Now, I did I have been considering picking the Bears here as like a Lions
Mm,
slip up because they play on Thanksgiving every
yeah.
fucking year, but
Yeah, but this is like they're never like Thanksgiving's
it
a
is
big
in
one for
Detroit.
them. This is a big one for them. Like they've been on Thanksgiving every single year. We already talked they've been a joke for our entire lives.
Yeah.
Like they've lost so many Thanksgiving games. They've seen so many people celebrate their Thanksgiving against them. They have to win this. Plus, they're probably arguably the best team of football, and the Bears are a team that don't know how to win. So I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions as well. Um, Next game, 4:30 p.m. Great game. What's better than to flush your appetizers of Thanksgiving with an a toilet bowl game of the Giants and the Cowboys?
That's brutal.
I'm taking the
I
Cowboys because the Giants are fucking miserable.
I'm going with the Cowboys, man. They're riding this high streak. They got a big win. I think they're going to keep the good times rolling.
We shall see. And then this should be, I think, a good game. 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. Your dessert game. Dolphins at the Packers.
I'm going to say they mentioned that Tua mentioned this already because it's what everyone's thinking, especially after
The
last year
cold.
with the yeah.
Yep.
Unlike the Steelers, who apparently are also affected by the cold, Miami actually has an excuse because they are in a warm place.
Yes.
I think they go to Lambeau and win, though. They're
Okay.
cruising. Tua's healthy. The offense is back. They're my team going into it. I think they're going to go win. This is a game. This is a good metrics measuring point for them.
For both teams, I would say.
Yeah,
Um, Now I saw it when I pulled the schedule up, I saw that game and I said, I want to pick the Dolphins, but if Tim picks the Dolphins, I'm going to go Packers. So it's in Lambeau. They're good with the cold. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers here.
fair enough.
Jordan Love just needs to calm down when he's just fucking chucking the ball, throwing interceptions. If he could
Yeah.
settle in, they'll be good. But then our Black Friday game is tempting me for an upset. But I don't even know who the fuck's playing quarterback. So Raiders at the Chiefs.
Have they played the Raiders yet? Because I feel like they always lose one to the Raiders.
I've been saying every year I've correct no, I don't know if correctly, but every year I pick the Raiders to upset them at least once. Um,
Yeah, I don't see it being this one
I
though.
don't think.
They have already played.
Okay. Kansas City, yeah, obviously won.
Close game, 27-20. So that close game is going to count as the upset. So I'll take the Chiefs.
Black Friday,
Raiders,
Raiders.
paint them black.
Ah, I'll take them.
There you go. Love it. Love it.
Why not? Why not ruin the little lead I was trying to get? Um, Gotta have a little fun for the holidays. Then we start on Sunday. Sunday, December 1st. You heard that correctly. December fucking 1st already. Um, Chargers at the Falcons.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I'm buying the Chargers, I think, more than I'm buying the Falcons. I'll take the Chargers.
I'm I'm in the same breath of I kind of need to see what the Chargers do tonight. I think if the Chargers, I don't know. I
The
think
two teams going two different directions.
The Falcons need this game though because like we just mentioned, like the Bucks are right there. So I'm gonna take Atlanta just because I think I still don't think the Chargers are actually for real. I think they're just playing really well and they're obviously being coached well, but I think the Falcons steal it. Um, Steelers at the Bengals. Bengals are technically still in playoff contention.
They got to eventually win one. And
That's how
I
I
think
feel.
The Steelers are going to show some raveling. I think the Browns beating them mentally messed them up. So let's go Bengals.
I agree. I'm going to take Cincinnati here. Texans at the Jaguars. Oh, what do they call? What do we call this game,
Yeah,
Tim?
that's a get right game.
Yeah, I agree. Texans. Um, Cardinals at the Vikings. This is
Mm.
interesting. This is really interesting because the Cardinals, I think your team or my team that I said could sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, they had such a stinker this week, though.
I
They
know. They're
really
very
did.
hot and
I
cold.
mean, defensively, they played really well. 16 points is a good game.
I'm gonna make it easy for
Six
you.
points, though.
I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
Fine, I'll take the Vikings.
Alrighty. I wrote down the bikes. I meant to say the Vikes. Um, Colts at the Patriots, another toilet bowl game.
Oh boy. I mean, after what I saw, the Patriots throw a good one out there every once in a while. I'll take the Patriots.
I was gonna say if it was in Indianapolis, I'd take the Colts, but it's probably a cold game in New England. I'll take the Patriots. Um, Seahawks at the Jets.
I mean, they're my team. They keep making me look good. Go Seahawks. Really, really. You think you want to do it? The most toxic franchise in the NFL right now, and that is saying something.
Jets, 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 Jets.
I mean, I could get behind you with the Raiders. That's just a terrible decision.
I'm gonna come back to it.
Come
I'm gonna
back.
say
What?
Jets for
No.
now, but I might change my mind.
No, you don't change your mind and lock it in now. You're
No,
writing in a pen.
no.
Like, oh,
Tight.
me,
Oh, here's a
after Aaron Rodgers throws a pick six on the first opening drive, I'll change my mind.
well, no, because they're all posted before the game start.
Yeah.
Oh, that means I have to make a Thursday post. Okay. Well, all right. Uh, this is also the potential for another get right game. Titans at the Commanders. Titans have been kind of feisty lately, though.
They have, and the Commanders have not looked great.
I'm gonna
Oh,
take
you know
Washington.
what? I'll take the feisty ones. I'm going
Okay.
Titans.
Okay. Buccaneers at the Panthers.
Yeah, the Buccaneers
Bucks are
need
rolling
this.
right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh Rams at the Saints. Saints off a
Uh,
bye, or is this a get right game for
I'm
the
calling it a
Rams?
get right game. The Rams aren't a bad team. That's what
No.
makes the Eagles win more impressive.
I agree. I'm gonna say Rams here. 425 game. Eagles at the Ravens.
Go Birds.
I think it's tough. I think if the Chargers win tonight, that the Ravens win
There's
against
no
the
time.
Eagles.
We're on a what, 7 game winning streak. You're not going to pick against the Eagles. If you do, you're getting cold for Christmas. Like this is not a hard decision. You
I
ride with the Eagles
I
until they lose.
I genuinely think they're going to drop one of either the Ravens or the Steelers game. And I actually think they're going to drop the Steelers game. So I'm going to take Ravens
I can't wait till you're wrong.
because the Steelers have a better defense. And then Sunday night football, 49ers at the Bills. This could be an
Oh,
upset, but I'm going to take the Bills.
I don't see it, man. The Niners just look off. They
Dead. They
don't
look
look
dead.
good. The Bills coming off a bye, and I just don't see it. They're rolling. The Niners don't look good at all. Give me the
No.
Bills.
All right. And that is our game picks. We're gonna quickly end this just on our power rankings. So last week we had Lions at 1, Bills at 2, Chiefs at 3, Steelers at 4, Eagles at 5, Ravens at 6, Packers at 7, Vikings at 8, Commanders at 9, Chargers at 10. Now I will say we have two teams that are playing tonight, so that will definitely impact this list. But before that game, obviously I think the Eagles I think it should be Lions 1, Bills 2, Eagles 3, Chiefs 4.
And now, still putting the Eagles at 4. I tell you, Chiefs game is the most dangerous one we've seen yet because
I
they
don't
just find ways to win.
I mean I don't disagree with you, but I don't know.
You look at it a different way than I look at it.
Clearly.
You look at it as, oh, they went to the fourth quarter tied with the Carolina Panthers. So they had needed a blocked field goal to win this game. I look at it as, man, they just keep winning in any way possible. They just find ways to win. It doesn't really matter what situation they're in.
All right. Well, Commanders I would say are out right now.
No, they stink.
And do we keep Steelers in top 10? Maybe put them at 9.
Yeah, that's fine. They need a big drop.
So Steelers at 9. Keep the Ravens at 6 for now. Packers at 7.
It's
Vikings
fine.
at 8. Actually, maybe flip Vikings Packers.
Nah, man. The Packers just smacked the Niners.
Okay. So then we got Steelers at 9, Chargers at 10, but we have an open spot. So some teams got to jump in here.
Kind of like the Broncos.
I don't hate it, but top 10? Hold
I
on.
mean, they keep winning.
Let's see.
I mean, I'd say them or Depending on how high you feel on the return of Tua with the Dolphins.
I'm just looking at record. I mean, Houston, Denver, Washington are all 7-5.
Yeah, but Washington looks rough. They're on a 2-game losing streak, and we both said the Texans are overrated.
Miami's 5-6. Uh, Denver's got a good defense, so all right, I can get behind that. Broncos at number 10. Who would have?
Deal.
I never would have predicted that this year. I also never would have predicted the Washington Commanders to be in the top 10 at any point. But
Mm.
all right, well, good episode. Huge, huge game for the birds, both birds, and we'll see. But Saquon, we love you, and fly Eagles fly.
Thankful for Saquon.
Peace.
Peace.